what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Logan.
What's going on, y'all? It's Jake.
Howdy, it's Sling.
Back again, week 7, the magical number, the number that they say as a podcast. You got to get through week 7. And look, we're here. We're ready to pod. But what y'all boys get into this weekend?
Let's see.
A whole lot of nothing.
Yeah, I had this weekend off again from work, so that was cool. Worked out, did some homework, and watched some soccer. That's basically it. Watched some football.
I had a lot of fun this weekend. It was my birthday weekend, so pretty much blacked out Friday night, almost blacked out Saturday night.
Wait, it was your birthday?
I don't think you reminded us enough of that last podcast.
Yeah, I'm just kidding.
Either way.
I'm trolling. It wasn't my birthday. You wouldn't know because Donnie didn't wish me.
It was a happy birthday. A good birthday.
Donnie didn't wish me a happy birthday, so it wasn't
facts.
Yeah, hey, shout out Donnie. Fuck Donnie.
What a scumbag. Yeah.
What a scummy fuck.
What a friend right there. What a friend.
Yeah. It is what it is.
He's probably too busy blacking out himself.
He's a Man City fan.
Yeah.
Typical glory hunter, oil club
merchant.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, I just same old, hung out, watched some footy, watched some other sports, did some schoolwork.
Played some FIFA.
Yes,
sir.
That's about it.
Shout out Gudson.
It's a usual relaxing weekend. All right, let's just go ahead and let's jump right into the action. We are going to start off in Manchester. They had the big one this weekend, the Manchester Darby. We know all about that, but let's go over what they got into before that Derby. City came in riding, an incredible win streak. I believe they turned it into 21 wins in a row against Wolves. It was either 21 or 22, and with a 4-0 or a 4-1 victory over them in the midweek. And then United had yet another 0-0 draw during the midweek against Crystal Palace, an absolutely dead game. I was watching that game. I just had to turn it off. I couldn't watch anymore. It was so boring. I would genuinely rather look at the wall and watch the paint dry. But so yeah, I turned that game off. Ended up a 0-0. And so yeah, everybody's thinking, okay, yep, easy win for everything's looking good for Manchester City. Yesterday on Sunday for the Derby, and then the way that football goes, what you expect to happen just does not happen. And Man City's win streak comes to an end as United hand them a 2-0 loss.
Yeah, that was crazy. I expected nothing less of them getting a penalty.
Yeah, in the first minute of the game.
Yeah, to be their first.
That was such a stupid. I don't know what the hell Gabriel Jesus is doing right there. That was one of the dumber challenges I think I've seen.
Yeah, it was definitely a penalty.
It was a forwards challenge. That's
the
fact
for sure. That it was Man United, and of course they got a penalty against Man City of all teams. To give them that momentum, and then they go on and score second one to win, or to keep that lead and to win.
Yeah, I mean, if you looked at the overall shape of the game, I think City tripled United's shots. They had way more possession, but when it comes to clear-cut chances, City didn't really have a ton of those. It's a good victory for United in the end. Luke Shaw's goal was really nice. He wants to be Kieran Tierney so badly, but he's not quite that level. But yeah, big 2-0 victory for United. I don't think it does much for the title race. There's still a big gap between the two, and but at the very least, the United fans get to say, "Hey, Manchester is red."
Manchester's red. Baby.
That's always nice to have bragging. They could be 20th and beat City, who were in first, and at least for that moment in time, you get those bragging rights. So big win for United, and City finally come back down to earth. After winning what was 21 or 22 straight games. It was coming eventually. You can't just continue that run forever.
Dude,
you're going to have a letdown.
All good things come to an end eventually.
They get a loss, maybe that shocks them.
I seriously doubt it.
I know. Yeah.
If it was a totally bad performance by City, I could see it, but it wasn't a bad performance by them. It's just kind of one of those games that
I would like for them to be shocked and maybe lose a few more and make it a little interesting, but I don't see it happening.
Still an 11-point gap. Not really much of a chance, but still a very good result for United. And then obviously they want to be that team that finishes second. Getting a big win over City like that will definitely help them in that regard. So then let's move on to the team that just finished playing about a few hours ago. A pretty good little week for old Chelsea, wasn't it?
Yes, sir, it was, baby. So we opened up with Liverpool at Anfield, and I was watching that game, and I felt like we did play better than them. We definitely deserved that win, and Mason Mount's run and then his strike for that goal it was pretty. And it was good because he hasn't been the most consistent in front of net like we've talked about before, but then that just kind of silenced the hate for a little bit, so that was good. And I personally think he's been probably our best performer over the past few weeks, honestly. Liverpool had more possession in that game, but I think we just had more chances.
Liverpool, they just struggle to create chances. They look like they lacked
They had one
which
shot
is
on target.
it's funny. They brought in Thiago for that sole reason to be that creative outlet from midfield, and he has literally done nothing since he signed. I'm pretty sure he has 0 goals, 0 assists in the Premier League. He's been one of the worst signings
That's
in the
great.
Premier League this season.
Yeah,
That's really good.
People want to talk about Willian at Arsenal, how he was a bad signing even though he was free, but he has way better stats than Thiago, and he was also signed on a free.
And he's also
yeah,
bad.
No, so that was a good win for us, and I think that was just also another devastating loss for Liverpool. But anyways, then we moved on to a game that actually just happened. We played Everton. Ended up beating them 2-0. I thought that was just a really solid performance by us. We had a weird lineup in there.
Yeah, Tuchel, even though Havertz has done nothing to even really warrant a start, although he did play good today, he gets a run in the starting lineup, but old Pulisic can't get a run in the starting 11. That it's just clear to me now that Tuchel just hates Americans.
Yeah, but I mean,
He's racist.
At the same time, though, it's like I would love to see Pulisic starting. Don't get me wrong; he's one of the reasons why I started to support Chelsea, and I want to see him just as an American succeed. And I think he's probably one of our better players.
He is y'all's best player when he's on form.
Well, yeah, no, for Chelsea, sure, but he's also one of our best players for the United States team. So obviously, I'd love to see him play. But then again, it's like in Tuchel's reign so far, I think it's 11 games. It's
unbeaten and all.
Yeah, unbeaten with I think like 3 or 4 draws or something. So obviously, he's doing something right. And then, but yeah, anyways, that game, I mean, we just dominated. We had Kai Havertz put a shot near net. It wasn't going in, but then Ben Godfrey ended up deflecting it in for an own goal. That was our opener. And then Kai Havertz had a really nice run into the box. Pickford tried coming out to, knock
that
the
game
ball
was
away
Pickford
from him.
in a nutshell.
Yeah.
He made some really nice saves, and then I don't know why he did that. Like, he just came out off it. Because, I mean, it was a good run, and good fine, and Havertz was kind of through, but the angle he was at, I seriously doubt he's scoring from that angle.
Yeah.
And Pickford, if he just stays on his line, I doubt anything really comes from that, at least not initially in that situation, but he just comes out and gives Havertz the reason to dribble past him and then go to the ground.
Yeah.
It just wasn't a very good decision on his part.
So we were in that PK, and then we put the Italian Jorginho up at the spot, and he did his little hop and a skip and put it away in the bottom left. And so yeah, that was basically that. And then I'd like to talk about Timo motherfucking Werner.
That's honestly who I have more of a problem with starting.
Why is he playing? Yeah, like I understand we paid him a lot, and you would like to see him be a very clinical finisher for how much we're paying.
Well, hell, I think they paid, maybe not on a weekly basis, but like transfer fee wise, I'm pretty sure they paid just as much for Pulisic as they did for Werner.
Yeah, I don't
or
get
around
it,
the same.
Like he literally had the first opportunity that really was just beyond me how he didn't score. He had a defender on his hip for like a jump ball, basically, and the defender just straight up missed. So he was out of the picture. There wasn't another defender within 10 yards of him, and it was a one-on-one with Pickford. And he could have literally taken like 2 more touches around and slotted it away, but instead he just decided to shoot immediately. And Pickford saved it
he just
on the near post.
hit it directly to him.
Yeah, he kicked it right at him. And then again, he was on a 1v1, and there were defenders closing in, but it's a one-on-one versus the goalie. You should be able to score, and he kicks it right at him again. I mean, it's beyond me why he starts week in and week out and just doesn't produce.
Yeah, like when you look at him and Pulisic, right? Even on current form, like what does he do better than Pulisic besides he might be like a little bit faster? And it's not like Pulisic's slow or anything. He's still quick himself, but Werner is very quick. I mean, Pulisic's a better dribbler. He's a better passer. Even right now, he's a better finisher than Werner because Werner's absolutely woeful in front of net. I mean, maybe Werner
Oh.
makes like more runs, but besides that, I genuinely don't know what he's done to deserve that many consecutive starts over and over. If he was starting Giroud ahead of Pulisic, I would kind of understand it because Giroud's actually been scoring goals and he puts goals on the board. Whereas Werner, I mean, yeah, he runs. That's it. Cool. I mean, while it doesn't really, you could pull someone from the fucking stands. Well, obviously, there's not people in the stands right now, but you could pull a fan and he'd go out there and do the same shit and run up and down the pitch.
Yeah, this shit just pisses me off, man. We literally should have won that game like 4 or 5-0 if you count in those opportunities. And then there was like 1 or 2 more that we could have possibly scored off of. But I mean, we over doubled their shots. We had 9 shots on target to their 1 shot on target. We had double their possession. I mean, it was just domination.
Yeah, I think Everton.
It was revenge for the 2-0 loss that we took to them.
I think Everton were clearly losing or missing. They didn't have James Rodriguez or Decore in that game, and they were just getting overrun in the midfield. And I think they clearly missed them.
Yeah, but no, good run of form for us. I was very happy with our results this week.
Yeah, 2 big wins. I mean, 2 wins over teams in the top 8 now. I mean, beating Everton, beating Liverpool, and then speaking of Liverpool, they continue their absolutely disgusting run of form at home over the weekend, and they lose their 6th straight game at Anfield. Against Chelsea was the first time in their club's over 100-plus year history that they had lost 5 straight games at home, and they were like, all right, let's just one-up ourselves on the weekend. They lost their 6th straight game to Fulham 1-0. Mario Lemina had a really nice goal off of, I think it was Salah that was just kind of like laboring on the ball. Yeah, he didn't really clear it. He's just trying to control it, and the dude took it right off of him and then fired it into the far corner past Allison. Yeah, Liverpool, I mean, they look absolutely atrocious, like at home especially, which it's got to be like some kind of mental block at this point. I don't know. I feel like some of their players, though, I mean, I saw Klopp made like 7 changes between that game and the Chelsea game. Like he didn't start Alexander-Arnold. Mane didn't start. Firmino didn't start. Thiago didn't start. I don't believe Henderson started. He didn't start. Kabak, he didn't start. Another one of the center backs. So he put in a lot of new players and yet still got the same result. They just like they don't create chances and that's becoming a really big problem for them. And I mean, for them now, it's almost like, I mean, technically they still are only 5 points off of top 4, which like isn't an insurmountable amount. Obviously, it was still they still have 10 games to go left in the season, so they could still climb their way back into the top 4. But the way they're going right now, they just look like they're going to be trending further and further down the table, and might just need to start putting all their eggs in the Champions League basket.
Yeah, and on the other side of that, Fulham, that's a huge win
massive
for them
win, yeah.
Because now they're tied in points with Brighton, who's right above them, and they're only 1 behind Newcastle. So,
yep. Although those 2 teams do have a game in hand, but you'd rather have the points now and make them go win that game in hand than not have it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think they said Fulham has now in their last 8 league away games has like 6 draws and 2 wins. They're unbeaten in the last 8 of the league, which is kind of like crazy how they're still in a relegation zone after that kind of a run. But hopefully they can keep it up because we've obviously been on here before. We would definitely want Fulham to stay in the Premier League.
Absolutely.
Fuck it. We
All right. Let's move over into back into the city of London. Spurs, I'll tell you what, Wolfsberger gave them confidence by those 2 shellackings they gave them a week or 2 ago in the Europa League, and now Spurs they've been playing good lately. They got a good 1-0 win against Fulham, although it was very fraudulent. I don't understand like the handball that was called in that game. Didn't really make sense to me, especially after what wasn't called in the Arsenal game. But we'll get to that in a little bit. And then they win 1-0. Fulham probably should have gotten a draw out of that game. I thought they were good for a draw as well. But then Spurs, they really kind of took it to Crystal Palace over the weekend. It was the Son and Harry Kane show, and now it's the Harry Kane and Gareth Bale show. I think they both scored 2. Kane assisted both of Bale's goals. He had 2 goals and 2 assists in that game. So, yeah, a good performance by them. When you have players like that, Bale is not the player he was 3 or 4 years ago, but he's still obviously a very good player when he feels like it. And then Kane is one of the better strikers in all of Europe and all of world football. So they're really putting together right now, and they just kind of carry that team, to be honest. 'Cause they still, like, overall, I watch them. They're not like a super impressive team, but they have super impressive players that at any given game can just turn up and take over a match.
Yeah. And honestly, I think Harry Kane could be competing for a Ballon d'Or if he was on
Yeah, he's just not
better team.
the problem. To win a Ballon d'Or, you got to actually win trophies, and
Yeah.
that's something that Spurs don't do. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I don't see what he's doing, because the thing for me is that he's already a legend at Spurs. Probably one of the greatest players they've ever had. Obviously, he hasn't won any trophies, which that kind of ups your legendary status at a club. But just based off of, like, the stats and accomplishments he's had as an individual, he's one of the better players Spurs have probably ever had. I mean, at this point, he's getting into his. I want to say he's like 27. He's getting into his, like, later 20s. I mean, at some point, he's got to go make a. You would think he'd leave and go to a club where he actually has a chance to win something. I mean, like, can you imagine him in, like, a Man City team? Oh my
I'd
God,
rather not.
that would be unfair. Or, like, I know there's been rumors in the past, like a couple years ago, about how Real Madrid were really interested in him. That wouldn't be a bad shout. Or even like he went somewhere like, I mean, PSG. That would be pretty nice too. But I'm just wondering how long he's going to continue to stay at Spurs, especially if they just every single season they fail to win any kind of silverware.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, Spurs are back on track. They're back into the top four race as well. I thought they were buried. Just a week or two ago, they were way down the table. I think in ninth.
Mhm.
Now they're up in seventh, but they're only 5 points back of Chelsea in fourth. So it's obviously doable. I don't know if I wouldn't fancy them to make top four, but it's obviously there. They have a chance, and they're back into it. So let's now get on to the Arsenal Burnley game from the weekend, and another controversial decision, and it's getting so, like, just annoying and frustrating at this point. I what do you think, Sling?
It was such a bad result. I mean,
Yeah,
yeah, it was a road game. Went into Burnley. Anytime you go into another team's house, anything can happen. You don't really expect to drop points to Burnley. I don't think anyone did.
they've
None of
taken
us on the
4 points
pod.
off of us this season. They beat us at the
Yeah,
Emirates, and then they drew with us on the weekend.
yeah. Then we come in there, and you don't expect points to get taken from you like that, like what the refs did. I don't know. It's really disappointing. It's one of those things, like been talking about it like every episode. It seems like it's something new with the refs,
Yeah,
and this week it was nothing new, nothing different. So
yeah.
just really
It's just
disappointing. It's
getting
annoying.
really frustrating, because I mean, we have mentioned the refs in some degree. I think on every single pod we've done, and
Yeah,
this is our seventh pod now. And I think this is probably the fourth or fifth time we've mentioned them in relation to Arsenal, which is just that kind of shows you the level. I mean, just over the past month, we had obviously that handball with Burnley. I don't understand the letter of the law. That's a penalty. He has his arms out wide. He's making himself bigger. You can even see him move towards the ball when Pepe is flicking it past him, and it's just a blatant handball. I don't. I genuinely want to. I want someone to explain to me, like, how that isn't a penalty, and I don't think anybody can. Every single person I have seen United fans, I have seen Chelsea fans, I have seen Spurs fans, obviously Arsenal fans, I have seen fans of a team in League Two. They all said that's a penalty. How has that not been given? And yet the one moron, Kevin Friend, who was controlling the VAR in that game, just doesn't even signal down to the referee to go have a look at it, and it's not given. But over the past month, we've had that. We had the incident at Aston Villa where there should have been a red card. Dude just takes out Bukayo Saka while he's through on goal. We have the incident against Wolves where David Luiz gets a red card and a penalty for just running, and the striker's uh, tip of his studs clip David Luiz's knee. Which, by the way, since that's happened, I have seen, like, little clips of, like, the rules, and the rules they literally state in the rules that penalties are not given for incidental contact, which that was incidental contact. So not only should that not have been a red card, but it shouldn't have been a penalty in the first place. So that's 3, and then I believe there's another instance that I'm kind of drawing a blank on right now, but there's been like 3 or 4 like major decisions just in the past month that have cost us points in the league, and it's starting to get ridiculous. I don't like being that person that like thinks that there's a conspiracy or some kind of bias against my club, but like I can't say anything else at this point. I mean, every team gets shafted by these referees in the Premier League because they are so garbage. They're so terrible at their job. But
Right.
no team gets shafted by like Arsenal. It's unreal the amount of times that we've lost points. And you could say like the performance wasn't great. I mean, even regardless of the penalty situation, Pepe just completely swings and misses at like a shot from like 6 yards out, and then he has the other one where he hits it good shot, but it's cleared off the line by Peters, who and it was originally called a red card and a handball, but they reviewed it and went off his shoulder, which is hilarious. They're able to get that VAR decision correctly, but not the other one. And then Saka had 2 big chances in the first half. That was probably his worst performance maybe of the season. He just didn't look like himself in that game. And then Aubameyang had another chance as well. I mean, we had plenty of chances to make that a 5 or 6. We could have scored 5 or 6 goals if we just take our chances in that game. So it's not all on the referee. But the bottom line is that you can't always put in great performances like we did against Leicester last week. You're not always going to be playing fluid football and finishing off your chances. Sometimes you need that penalty or you need a terrible goal to go your way and say, look, we didn't play very good. We can play a hell of a lot better than that, but hey, we got out of here with a victory. And sometimes a penalty like that is what you need to get out of there with a win. And we were robbed once again, and it's just getting beyond frustrating at this point.
Yeah, and I mean, like you were saying about being able to come out there with a win, like that's always like the sign of a good team. Is they say like if you can still win when you're not at your best, like that's the sign of a good team. And we obviously weren't able to come out there with the 3 points this weekend like we wanted to, and like you said, it just wasn't like a very good performance despite the referee decisions. So just a very disappointing weekend. And disappointing season pretty much for the most part up to this point.
Yeah, I think that was like really that game was almost a perfect like summary of our season. I mean,
very on brand of how we've played this year.
The better side. I mean, if you look at the XG, which is like the expected goals, I think it was like 2.8 for Arsenal to like 1.1 for Burnley. So obviously, I mean, we dominated the game. We deserved to win, really, even though we didn't play that great. But we didn't take our chances. That's been a recurring theme the entire season. And then we got shafted by the referees, and that's been a recurring theme the entire season. So I don't know. That's why I continue to like beat on a dead horse that like I fully back Arteta and I can see what he's doing, because in a different situation, like some different luck this season, we could very easily be 8 or 9 points better off than we are. Some VAR decisions go our way, refereeing decisions go our way, and then just a couple of instances where like guys you would expect to put the ball into the back of the net just don't do it. So I definitely see a vision through Arteta, and hopefully we can put in those good performances at least in the Europa League and make a run in that.
Yeah, can still come away with some hardware. So I mean, put your eggs in that basket and just move on at this point.
Yeah, because I mean, regardless, it's always not good to lose to Burnley. Or we didn't lose; it felt like a loss, but drawn against Burnley. But at the end of the day, we've already said it that we're kind of just playing for pride right now in the league, not really playing for much more. I guess there is still an outside chance at that 7th place spot. We're 7 points back of Spurs right now. So, I mean, we have a small chance, very, very small chance to make it in that spot. But for the most part, what we need to focus on is the Europa League. And so hopefully they can put together those performances there.
Yeah.
All right. So first week of the new month of our new picks. And I think we have a leader already in the clubhouse. Sling, what's it looking like?
All right, so this is how we kind of hopped out of the gate to start off this new month of picks. Jake is our leader currently.
Yes, sir.
He sits at the top with 4 points, and then kind of trailing behind him, neck and neck, is Logan and I. We both have 2 points apiece.
Dude, that is bad. How many games did we pick? And we have 2 points?
Let me just say, look, not that 4 is much better. It was a bad week all around.
At least it's double.
2 is still very bad. We picked, was it I think 9 or 10 games. 2, 4,
Dude, that is so
9.
bad. I understand that like
Nine
it's a hard
games.
sport to
Yeah.
pick because anything can happen. But holy shit, that's terrible.
Yeah, we picked 9 games and we picked 2 correct results.
Yeah, if you're listening to this podcast for betting advice, please do not do that because you will lose money.
You would have
So
lost
that's
a lot
just
of
a
money this
disclaimer,
week.
right? You can't hold us accountable. This is not betting advice at all.
Yeah. So
What were the games that y'all got right?
City
Yeah,
Wolves.
what is it, son?
City Wolves.
Yeah.
Everyone got that right. And then Spurs Fulham. Everyone got that one right.
Fulham.
Damn. And then
Dude, we didn't get a single game right over the weekend, did we?
Yeah.
No.
That's what y'all get for picking against my Blues, baby. Let's go.
Jake,
Dude, I wasn't a believer in Tuchel, but I think I might be coming around a little bit.
Yes, sir.
Jake got the Chelsea-Liverpool game right, and then he got Chelsea-Everton. So Jake bet on his own team this weekend and paid off. So
what was the scoreline that I picked for those 2 games, Sling?
You had 1-0 Chelsea for Chelsea, and then you had a 2-1 Chelsea for today's game.
So wait,
yeah, Jake should have 2 points for the Liverpool game then.
Did it
end? He got 1-0. That was the one. That was the scoreline.
Yeah, it ended 1-0.
Oh, I thought it ended
We're already in a
2-0.
three.
Out here trying to cheat me.
Oh, shut the
I'm gonna
fuck.
start making bold picks now to fucking climb back up the table. I mean, I have my victory, so I was kind of decided to take this month off as long as I don't lose. Let somebody else share the glory.
Yeah.
He was weeping so hard. After
we went.
The last pod, we just had to let him kind of have this month.
We felt bad for him.
Yeah, he was weeping so hard about that loss.
No, what was it? Didn't we go at one point like 4 straight games without picking? Like all 3 of us got 4 straight games wrong. The results.
Yeah, pretty much.
Nobody expected
weekend.
Fulham to beat Liverpool. None of us expected City to beat United.
Yeah, we had Arsenal winning. We all had Liverpool beating Fulham. We all had City beating United, and then we had like various. I think me and Jake had a draw in the Spurs Palace game, and then Logan had a Crystal Palace winning 2-1, and obviously that didn't happen. So we were all very off on our picks for the most part this weekend.
Yeah, see if we can do a little bit better this upcoming week. All right, we're going to take a quick little break from, well, maybe not a quick little break because we had a lot of action over the weekend, but a little bit of a break from the Premier League, and we're going to get into our U.S. men's national team rundown.
Yeah, our boys were busy this past week. This is like a polar opposite from 1 or 2 podcasts.
Yeah, there was like nothing going on. We had to just like search for like random shit to come up for that pod.
But no, so we'll actually keep it in England. Our boy Dike'd, who is actually on the come up, he's looking like a very promising U.S. men's national team striker. Scores 2 in 2 games for Barnsley, who now are on a 7-game winning run in the championship as they climb into a promotion playoffs.
Yeah, I think ever since he got to Barnsley, their only loss was to Chelsea in the FA Cup, but they've won every single game in the championship, and they are sitting, I believe last time I checked, they were 6th in the table. I don't know if that's still the case. Let me check real quick. Yeah, they're still sitting in 6th in the championship table, 1 point ahead of Bournemouth. Obviously, the top 2 in the championship get promoted immediately, and then 3 through 6 play semifinals and a final to decide that one final spot. And he's definitely helped them. And that was the winner this past weekend in their game. It was a freaking banger. You see that goal?
Yeah, no, yeah. He launched that shit.
I don't know how he scored from that angle, but he hit it so damn hard that like. I saw some people saying, "Oh, how does the goalie not cover his near post right there?" But when you hit the ball like 170 miles per hour, it's kind of hard to react to that. The goalie literally had no chance to even react at it. So yeah, that was a great goal, and hopefully he continues his run for Barnsley and maybe helps him to a promotion to the Premier League.
Yeah, and then we'll hop into the Prim again with Anthony Robinson. He gets a start for Fulham earlier in the week against Tottenham, and then comes off the bench to help see the game out in the massive win against Liverpool over the weekend. So
yep, kind of in and out of the starting lineup. He kind of shares that left back role with I'm drawing a blank on the dude's name, but doing his job, getting minutes in the Premier League. Probably is the top left back prospect for the national team right now, and as long as he continues to get minutes and does his thing for Fulham, he'll probably hold down that spot for at least the near future for the national team.
Yeah, let's hope so. And then we're going to hop over to Italy. Weston McKennie at Juventus started a game and then comes off the bench in another for 2 wins for Juve in the Serie A as they try to make some kind of late season push for a title.
Yeah, I think they're still 6 or 7 points behind Inter Milan. It was like 9 last week, so at least they closed the gap a little bit.
Dude, that's crazy how much talent they have, and they aren't
yeah, it's pretty bad.
top spot.
I saw like people have been kind of ridiculing Ronaldo. He was supposed to come in and help Juventus win a Champions League, and obviously I think they got knocked out in the round of 16 last year. They're currently losing their round of 16 tie against Porto right now, and now they aren't even winning the league like they were before.
Dude, and wasn't he
Ronaldo
like
came in.
Juve's kryptonite while he was at Madrid? Like they would run into them all
they
the
knew
time.
him
Right before he came to Juve, he was like over there and playing Juventus in the Champions League and scoring like bicycle goals
Yeah.
and shit against them.
I remember that, dude. I watched that live. That was nuts.
But yeah, I saw a stat with McKennie in the lineup. Juventus, like they've won like 11 games, drawn 2, and like lost 2.
Yeah, and then
And
without him, it's like polar opposite.
They've won like 4 games, drawn like 4, and lost 9 or some shit.
Coincidence?
Like
I think not.
that. Yeah, no. So
I
Start
would
the
say
damn
it
American.
definitely is a coincidence.
I feel
I
like
would
you
say
just
it's
hate
definitely-
Americans like Tuchel, Sling, because that's a wild comment.
Yeah.
I
What do
said
you-
that's
You said it's a coincidence, which means that you don't rate Weston? Damn. I see how it is.
maybe I said a
not.
blind shit. I
Yeah,
thought I was
you kind of
saying.
shit the bed.
I
on
thought
that
I
one.
was saying that Weston McKennie was. I don't know.
I know what
Yeah.
you meant, but you just said
You
it
just said it
wrong.
wrong.
It was bad
A
execution.
for effort, though.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
it's
Good idea, terrible execution.
It's fine. It's
Can I
fine.
just say this then?
Hey, we'll edit that out. No, don't
Start the Americans.
edit that.
Oh, God.
All right. So, anyways, we're gonna hop over to France. Boy, Timo Weah starts 2 games for Lille as
I
they
hate
get.
that shit. Timo, bro. His
Hey,
name is
He's the better
Tim
Timo.
or Timothy.
He's the better Timo.
Like
Let's be honest.
European announcers started calling him Timo because I guess that's what they call people named Tim in Europe. I don't even know. Don't quote me on that, but he's literally never gone by Timo before, and then announcers just randomly started calling him that.
It's starting to grow on me,
Timothy.
though. I'm fine.
It's because you have a damn Timo at your club as well.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
he's
who
who
he's
fucking
fraudulent.
sucks ass.
we know he sucks. We know. Okay.
All right.
Anyways, he starts 2 games for Lille as they get 2 big wins to stay atop of the French league table.
Yep, stay in adrift of PSG for now. I don't think it'll last the whole season, but hey, if he could win a league for Lille, that'd be pretty crazy. So hopefully he can keep it up. Maybe start contributing. He's been playing good, like putting in good performances, but ultimately when you're forward, kind of need some more goals and assists than what he's been putting up lately.
Yeah,
He's
isn't
been
he?
solid for them, though.
Isn't he on loan from PSG at Lille?
No, he was at PSG like 2 or 3 years ago. He's been at Lille now since last season, like full stop.
Oh, it's official. Okay.
Yeah,
He's also been injury prone, so
yeah. He was like injured all of last season.
yeah. Then we're gonna hop into Spain. Serginho Dest starts and helps Barcelona erase a 2-0 first leg deficit to win 3-0 in the Copa del Rey semifinal second leg. He also started at the weekend in a 2-0 victory for Barca over Osasuna.
Barca. Yeah.
My bad.
But anyways, yeah, Barcelona's seasons have been kind of looking a little shaky, obviously. But they got the huge 3-0 victory in that second leg over Sevilla, and that's kind of kickstarted. They had another good performance against Osasuna. I've noticed he has switched to Koeman, the coach of Barcelona, switched to a back 3, which means that Dest is now playing as a wing back, which that's what he's better at. He's better going forward than defending. And I think that's suited him because I don't think it's any coincidence that lately he's put in some of his best performances of the season in that wing back role.
Yeah, so he's been looking solid for them. Then we're going to go over to Austria. Brendan Aronson, 2 goals in 2 games for him for RB Salzburg. And also a fellow American also scored against Aronson's team over the weekend as Taylor Booth netted St. Polten's lone goal in a 4-1 loss to Aronson and Salzburg.
Yeah, Salzburg, the Giants over there in in Austria. They basically win damn near every single game in that league. I think it was a 4-0 victory. I think it was an Austrian Cup game during the midweek. And then that 4-1 victory against St. Polten. Taylor Booth is a 19-year-old wide midfield player / I guess winger. And he is currently on loan from Bayern Munich at St. Polten. I don't know if he'll ever break through it at Bayern Munich. He's only ever played for their B team. He's never even been like on the bench for the senior team, at least not in like competitive matches. But
his goal was kind of a banger, though.
Yeah, it was. It was a good goal.
The box.
But yeah, hopefully he can. He's only 19, has plenty of time to develop, get better. So hopefully he has a good into his loan stint at St. Polten, and then when he gets back to Bayern, can maybe turn some heads or get a loan move to something, maybe a bigger club, maybe like a lower league or a lower Bundesliga side, like at the bottom half of the table.
Yeah, that'd be cool. We're going to hop over into Germany. Chris Richards wins the battle of the U.S. men's national team center backs in a Hoffenheim 2-1 victory over a red-hot Wolfsburg, led by John Brooks.
Good win. And then I'm pretty sure that was Wolfsburg's first loss in the league for a minute. They lost, obviously, to Leipzig earlier in the week, 2-0, but that was in the DFB Pokal competition quarterfinal, and I think that was the first loss they've been handed in the Bundesliga for over a month now. I think they had won like 7 straight games, or at least not lost 7 straight games. Richards wins the little duel of the center backs, and that hopefully that is our center back pairing for the near future.
Yeah, well, then that form kind of carried over into Wolfsburg's next game because they were brought back down to earth last week with a 2-0 loss to Tyler Adams and RB Leipzig as well in the DFB Pokal quarterfinal. Adams then started for Leipzig over the weekend in a 3-0 victory for Leipzig over, is it Freiburg or Freiburg?
Yeah. Yep, Leipzig just kind of staying within arm's reach of Bayern. Bayern, I'm sure Leipzig were hoping that Dortmund could have helped them out over the weekend. Dortmund were up 2-0 in that game. And the Der Klassiker, I believe is what they call that over in Germany. But then Bayern came back and scored 4 unanswered and ended up winning that game 4-2. So they still stay atop of the Bundesliga table.
Didn't Lewandowski get a hat trick in that game? Or was it?
Yeah, I think he did. I'm pretty sure he did. You think he scored the first 2 goals?
So I think it was Haaland had 2, and then Lewandowski was like, yeah, I'll get 3.
Yeah.
But anyways, we'll stay in Germany. Josh Sargent continues a nice run of form for Werder Bremen as he scores a pretty nice header in a 1-1 draw for Bremen against FC Köln.
Yeah, strikers. I love how, like, a few weeks ago, I was feeling like kind of pessimistic, not feeling too great about that striker position for the national team. And then all of a sudden we have strikers all over the place in Europe scoring goals. Yeah. So that position's looking a lot more bright now.
Yep. We had, so many people that were scoring over Europe this weekend, including Tyler Boyd and Luca De La Torre, both net goals for their clubs, and Conrad De La Fuente even got in on the action with a goal for the Barcelona B team. So yeah. We had guys everywhere that were
eventful weekend for the national team, which means the next weekend we'll probably score no goals.
Yeah, honestly. But someone to watch for as U.S. men's national team fans is Jordan Sabachow.
I want to say it's Sabachow.
Yeah, that dude. He's a 24-year-old striker, has scored 8 goals in his last 9 games for Young Boys, which, by the way, it's a fire as hell name, in the Swiss League and Europa League. And he can still represent the U.S. men's national team, France or Cameroon, but the U.S. men's national team looks the more likely at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, being 24 already, if he was 18, I could see France being a little bit more interested, but he's already 24, playing the Swiss League, obviously not a top league, although Young Boys are the best team in the Swiss League, and they're currently in the round of 16 for Europa League. But not really much of a chance. I mean, France are the most stacked talent pool in international football. And then I would figure I think he'd probably choose the U.S. men's national team over Cameroon.
Cameroon's a powerhouse, bro. Don't sleep on.
There was an article that came out about him back in January. He was talking about the potential of representing the men's national team. And I mean, Berhalter should be releasing his roster for those end of March friendlies here within like the next week or so. So hopefully he's on there. Hopefully we can get to see him in some action.
Cap that man. Let's go.
Tap,
All right.
tap, tap.
So yeah, a good little U.S. men's national team rundown for this week. Lots of things going on. Probably the most exciting week and weekend that we have had ever since we started the pod across for the U.S. men's national team across Europe, and hopefully these guys can keep it going.
Yeah, that'd be sick.
All right. Well, we took our little break from the Premier League, but back into the action as we start to preview the upcoming games for the Big Six. And we'll start off in the midweek. The only Premier League game in the midweek, at least for the Big Six, Man City host Southampton, and I think City probably get back on track in this game. Sling, you ready to put the pretzels down and take our picks?
Hey,
This man
man.
just downs pretzels the entire podcast. I've never seen anything like it.
How you got? Why you gonna put me on blast like that, man? I'm at work. I'm doing my job. You know what?
All right, but anyways, I'm going to go with a. I think City will play a little angry that they lost that game against United. I'm gonna go with a 3-0 victory for the Citizens.
Yeah, that was. That's around the scoreline I was going to say, but I'm going to go. City wins 4-0.
Want to make it 5, Sling?
Negative Ghost Rider. I'm gonna go City 2-0 because I can't pick 3-0 or 4-0 because that's boring. I gotta make up for.
That's weird because you've just been copying this all like the last month and a half.
Incorrect. I'm going City 2-0.
All right. Well, let's jump into some big games during the midweek. We move into European Cup competitions. Liverpool, about the only games they can actually win nowadays in the Champions League. They play Leipzig the second leg of their round of 16 tie. They already are up 2-0, which was that away tie. So they have not only a 2-0 lead, but 2 big away goals. I'm kind of torn on this because a part of me thinks that okay, Liverpool are just going to play very defensive. I mean, if you get out of there with a 0-0 draw, if you get out of there even with a 1-0 loss, you're through. But another part of me knows that, I mean, Leipzig are going to have to come out and have to attack really expansive. So that's going to leave room in behind for Liverpool to counter. I did want to say, like, oh, it's just going to be a boring 0-0 draw, but I'm going to go with I'm going to say Liverpool. I'm going to say they both score. I'm going to go with a 1-1 draw. Like I said, I think Liverpool will hit them on the counter once, but I think Leipzig will provide enough pressure in that game to get a goal past Liverpool. And Liverpool are playing at home, so that's kind of been their nemesis.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I forgot about that. You see, I've learned from my past mistake of picking Leipzig over Liverpool, so not going to do that again. Although, even though Liverpool has they've looked so bad at home. I think them playing Leipzig, I think they win that game 2-1. I think Leipzig comes out and scores, but I think Liverpool they're just better than Leipzig. They're going to win 2-1.
I've also learned my lesson about picking Leipzig over Liverpool, and that's why I'm going to say Liverpool will win 2-0.
A couple 2-0 victories for Liverpool. Yeah, I mean, I guess you could see it. They're in awful form right now, but that form is in the league, and playing a team from a different country, they don't know you as well as some of these teams here in the Premier League. So yeah, hopefully, I say hopefully. I really don't give a shit if they win or lose, to be honest. but maybe Liverpool will continue to progress in the Champions League, and with how bad the league is going, if they could make a run in the Champions League and win the Champions League, it doesn't really matter what they did in the league. They'll still be back in the Champions League next season.
Yeah.
Well, then obviously you have the glory of winning the Champions League this year. But then we move into now the first leg of a round of 16 ties in the Europa League. United, this is going to be a good one. United host Milan. AC Milan, obviously, they're second in the Serie A right now. United are second in the Premier League. I think it's probably the best matchup in the Europa League, at least on paper. I would probably still give United the edge. I don't really particularly rate Serie A teams very highly. I think the brand of football they play over there has just kind of been declining over the years. I remember when Arsenal played Milan a few years ago in the Serie A, and they were like on a long unbeaten run in the Serie A, and then we just handed it to them over two legs, and we weren't even playing good at that time in our league. So I'm going to give United the edge. They're at home. I think it'll be a good game, but I think United will get out of there with a 1-0 victory.
Yeah, I think this is kind of the same boat as Liverpool, Leipzig, in my opinion. I think United just has better quality, and Serie A is kind of like the Bundesliga. You have like a few teams that are, you have a couple teams that are all right. One kind of king, even though Juventus really hasn't been that this season. But I'm saying United wins 2-0.
Milan used to be that team in the Serie A where they were kind of that giant, and if you got them in Europe, you're like, oh, shit. Well, it might be coming to an end now, but they've obviously declined over the last 10, 15 years or so, and really the only team that kind of puts some fear into you as an opponent from the Serie A is Juventus.
Yeah.
But Sling, what do you got for this game?
I have picked 2-0 for both of my my two first results in our first two matches. And I'm going to make it 3 in a row. I'm going to say 2-0 United in this one. Like you guys said, I think
You're so boring.
I think the quality of football is a little bit better over in England than it is in Italy. So I'm going to take United 2-0.
All right, and then we move on to Spurs. They are hosting Dinamo Zagreb from the Russian league. They're a halfway decent team, but they're not on Spurs level. If Kane and Bale continue to play like they're playing, I could easily see Spurs kind of controlling this game or controlling this tie from start to finish through both legs. And as much as I want to say that Dinamo Zagreb could pull an upset here, I'm going to give Spurs I'm going to take a page out of Sling's book. I'm going to give Spurs a 2-0 victory.
I'm going Spurs 3-0.
I pray to God that we're wrong and like Zagreb beat them, but for pick's sake, I just can't. What do you got, Sling?
I'm going to take a page out of my own book, and I'm going to go 2-0 Spurs.
Oh my God. Can you pick something else? That's 4 in a row. Jeez.
It's going to hit, baby. 2-0 Spurs.
Yeah, one of them is eventually going to be right.
Yeah.
All right, Arsenal. We got to talk about this one for a little bit because this is, Jake kind of mentioned his revenge tour for Chelsea over Everton this weekend. This is the revenge tour. Okay, Olympiacos, they took my hopes and dreams and just snatched it away from me and then crushed it and then put it on the ground and stomped on it with their foot and then took a fucking jackhammer out and then did that shit to it as well. Yeah, and then they shit on it as well. But last season, Arsenal, obviously, a great first leg result against Olympiacos, won 1-0 in Greece, and you're like, okay, yeah, easy goings. Won the away leg, got an away goal. Now we'll go back to London. We'll wrap this up. Nope, at the end of full time, it was 1-0 Olympiacos. It goes to extra time. Aubameyang scores in like the 116th minute, and you're like, all right, cool. We didn't. It wasn't pretty, but we did it. And then like the 120th minute, Olympiacos fucking score, and they go through on away goals, and was awful scenes last season, and was very depressing, and was very angry at that time, and we owe them. We owe them this season, and you know what? I was looking at the draws beforehand a couple weeks ago, seeing who we could get, and I was like, obviously I don't want United, I don't want Spurs, I don't really want Milan. Ajax were in there as well, didn't want them. There are some teams like Young Boys, Molde, that I really wanted, but I saw Olympiacos and I was like, you know what? Give me them motherfuckers. I want some revenge, and we got them. And how you feeling going into the game, Sling?
I'm fucking hyped. It's fucking revenge tour season, baby. Should I give my prediction right now?
Go ahead, give it to him. Balls.
2-0 Arsenal.
Oh my God.
Jesus Christ.
Fuck. Hey, I will gladly take a 2-0 victory.
What you doing?
I think that we are going to come out fucking pissed off. Last season when we played them in Greece, number one, that place is a fucking madhouse when they have fans. But obviously, with COVID, they don't have fans, so that's in our favor. Number two, we literally should have scored like 4 or 5 goals against them in the first leg last year when we played them. We had so many chances, and Lacazette just missed all of them. I remember that game. I think that I think we come out with intention. I think that they're going to be up for it. They're going to be at the top of their game. I don't think it's going to be a Burnley instance. I don't think it's not going to be how Benfica was, where he looked kind of flat and going through the motions. I think we'll definitely be up for that game. I think they'll put in a good performance. But because of how our defense literally gives away a fucking stupid ass goal every single game, I'm going to have to give Olympiacos one goal, but I'm also going to give Arsenal. I'm going to say we score 3 past them, so I'm going for a 3-1 win for the Gunners.
Spicy.
I was thinking about picking that scoreline, but I think I'm going to go with 2-1 Arsenal.
Just boring. Sling picking 2-0 17 times in a row, and then Jake just picking the default 2-1 scoreline. I have to carry these picks.
Yeah.
All right. Well, anyways, who's the Man City or no? Who's the only team that doesn't play in the midweek for the Big Six?
No.
Who is it?
Chelsea.
Chelsea. That's right. Yeah. Oh,
But
well,
Chelsea
speaking of
might
Chelsea,
Chelsea
then we,
doesn't really belong in the Big Six, but
that's true. They have only been existing since what, like 2004?
Holy fuck.
pretty much.
Buddy, y'all are picking for the Europa League right now? Sorry, we're not picking for that for us.
I mean, y'all are in nothing this week.
But will y'all win?
And we'll get to you next week when Atletico
we will.
back and win. Anyways, but Chelsea, because the TV knows that nobody wants to watch Chelsea play, they did not have a game during the midweek, but they have to have a game during the weekend, and they kick off the weekend in the Premier League. They travel to Leeds United, and I think that could be a pretty good game, depending on what Leeds team you see. Leeds can either put up 4 goals or they can get 4 goals scored on them. So you never know with them. What are you thinking for that game, Jake?
I think that we've looked really good in possessing the ball these past few games. I think if we keep the ball off of Leeds' feet, I think that we put it on them. I'm saying Chelsea wins this game 2-0.
Sling, you're going for like an 18 straight 2-0?
No, I'm just curious. What is funny? I'm pretty sure we've won our last few games. How did y'all do y'all's last game?
We got robbed by officials.
Oh, okay.
That's right.
Y'all drew against.
I'm sorry, we don't get penalties every single game like Chelsea did.
Well, I mean, we earned our penalty today, so
we also earned our penalty, but the ref was like, "Nah, you don't really feel like it."
Oh man, banter coming from the 10th place spot. That's wild.
Banter coming from an actual.
That's
big
wild.
Club. An actual big club.
Holy hell!
Because of all this weeping from Jake, I think I'll just go 2-0 Chelsea.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Leeds. I think I'm going to go 2-0 Leeds. No, I'm not going Leeds, but I'm not going 2-0 Leeds, but I am going 2-1 Leeds. Chelsea's run ends this weekend.
You know, I would have thought that y'all would have learned from picking against Chelsea.
No, okay, look, I have a rationale. Number one, runs eventually do have to come to an end. They're like unbeaten 11 games under Tuchel so far. Also, number two, they played Atletico the game after that. They could be looking ahead towards that. So, and then Leeds on any given day can turn up and actually be like really good. And I say that is going to be one of those days. They're at home, and Leeds are going to come out on top 2-1.
I hope.
Just wait on it.
Oh god. Man.
Now we move on to another team that just bought it all. Manchester City. They travel to Craven Cottage to play Fulham. Fulham have been on a good run of form lately. They're trying to climb out of that bottom 3, but unfortunately for them, I do not believe it continues this week. I think they are actually going to get brought down to earth a lot, and I think City are going to win this game 4-1.
Oh my god.
I'm going to have Anthony Robinson getting a hattie in this game.
Tim Ream come off the bench, get a goal as well.
Yeah, he's going to assist a few. No, I got City winning this 3-0.
Let's see.
2-0.
Please don't say it.
Say what?
I think you know what we're talking about.
Okay, I won't. I'll do.
Yes, you will. You're about to say it. I already know.
I think I'm going to end my streak of 2-0s right now, and I'm going to say 4-0.
Jesus. All right. Hey, at least the streak ended at 7 in a row. Good Lord. All right, then we move on to the big one, the biggest game of the season for Arsenal, the biggest game of the season for Spurs. It is the North London Derby on Sunday. They kick it off Sunday morning here in the States, Sunday afternoon, obviously, in the UK. Both teams are going to be coming off of games in the Europa League. You would think it would favor Spurs because they are playing at home in their first leg, whereas Arsenal are going to be traveling back from Greece. But I think this is another game where the Arsenal players, you're not going to see them come out flat. Like I said, I don't think you're going to see them come out flat against Olympiacos because of what happened last season. And you're not going to see them come out flat against Spurs because that just doesn't happen in North London derbies. Neither team normally comes out flat. And, we've had some bad luck recently, and I think that luck is going to turn around this week, and I think it continues. After I predicted a win against Olympiacos, and I think that we are going to get another big W here at home against Spurs. I think the boys are going to pull through. This might be the fan in me. There's no way in hell I'm choosing anything but a W for the Arsenal in this game. I'm choosing a 2-1 victory.
So what you got?
There's no fucking way we're losing those scumbags over at Tottenham. I'm going to say I'll go 1-0. I think it's going to be a very close game. It's going to be a
That's bold thinking that we're going to keep a clean sheet when you have guys like fucking Xhaka and Luiz and these morons that just commit personal mistake. Actually, I don't know why I'm calling out Luiz. He's been good, but our team is good for at least one mistake leading to a goal per game. So that's bold going for a clean sheet.
Well, I think Spurs is just going to have a stinker.
I hope you're right.
1-0. I hope so too.
Not so fast, my friend.
Fuck you.
Picking Tottenham 2-1.
Oh, God.
Okay, fucking
it just stinks. So, obviously, Jake is giving us an easy point there. We'll be catching to him at least a little bit, and after that game is over with.
Point? Wasn't it an easy point against Burnley?
No, I never actually said that.
I thought that was going to be an easy point.
You did too,
do you remember us saying that? Yeah, that's true. You picked Burnley, so.
You dumb fuck.
Yeah, I know. I thought y'all were going to fucking beat them.
I think you said something like, "Oh, psych, that's the wrong number. I think Burnley's going to win, or Chelsea, or Arsenal's going to win." I think you had them 2-0. You said 2-0 Arsenal. Huh.
Well, we'll revisit next week, so don't worry.
No, it's okay. You forget that Jake doesn't like to keep receipts. You just toss them away.
Dude, you literally have picked against Chelsea like the past 3 weeks. Like honestly, in this match, what makes you think that I wouldn't pick against Arsenal?
I don't know.
Because Arsenal have like a crazy good history of beating Spurs at home.
Okay, they've had that history. Look at the form as of right now. And Tottenham is now playing with some fire that we haven't seen in a while. And Arsenal just dropped points to Burnley.
We've said this before, though, because for the past 4 or 5 seasons, Spurs have been better. And yet they'll go to the Emirates and fucking cold corn.
Right,
so
we'll see.
It's going to happen again.
We will.
Jake will learn this weekend.
You're going to learn. We're going to keep receipts. You're going to start keeping your receipts.
I can't wait.
All right, let's move on to United. They host West Ham, another good matchup this weekend. Not really a rivalry game, but a good matchup nonetheless. I don't know. This is kind of a tough call for me because West Ham have obviously been in really good form. They do not play during the midweek, so they're going to have rest. Whereas United, they play obviously in the Europa League against AC Milan. And then in between that, after the West Ham game, then they travel to AC Milan to play again. So, yikes! I can't. Because of that, I can't pick United to win, but I don't know if I can pick West Ham to win either. So, I'm gonna go with a little standard 1-1 draw. You know what? Then scratch that. The 0-0 draw Kings are gonna do it again this weekend. 0-0 in that game. Good game on paper, but I think it's gonna be a stinker.
I also think it's going to be kind of a low-scoring game, not too exciting, but I'm going to pick Man United winning 1-0.
I'm going to go – I like a draw as well. I'm going to go 1-1. I think maybe Lingard or someone can put one past him, and then I think Penandes might come out again and get a nice little
Score
PK.
penalty.
Yeah, so
Reach his quota for the day.
1-1 draw. Yeah.
All right, and then the final game for the Big Six this week, Liverpool play Wolves. I think that actually might be a Monday game. It's either Monday or Sunday. But they play Wolves, and that game is at Wolverhampton. But with that being said, Liverpool, for some reason, they are just absolutely god awful at home in the Premier League. But they've gotten some wins on the road, and I think that they probably get a win in this game. I'm going to give Liverpool a. Oh man, I think it's going to be low scoring. I'm going to go with a 1-0 victory for Liverpool.
I think because Liverpool's midfield and defense has looked a little lackluster, I'm saying Wolves put one on them, but I'm saying Liverpool get 2. I'm saying they win 2-1.
You want to wrap up the week with a little 2-0 Sling? Or are you not feeling that for this game?
You know what? I'll wrap it in a 2-0.
I'm gonna be salty when that actually comes to
All
fruition.
of them are right.
Yes.
I'm gonna say 2-0 Liv.
2-0 Liv.
Let's get a dub.
Let's eat one.
Let's eat one.
All right. Well, Sling, look, this is where you take stage. This is where you take the floor. It is time for the most anticipated segment of our podcast, one of the most anticipated segments in all of the podcasting world. It is time for Sling Speaks.
Welcome back to Sling Speaks. Here's what we'll be talking about this week. There is a soccer shop out there, and they seem to think that they have made it. They think that shit is sweet. They go out there and they think that they're selling you nice quality jerseys, or at least that's how they sell them. And really, they're fucking frauds. Disclaimer, if you are planning to order anything from UK Soccer Shop, fucking don't. They suck. Just order from the team shop site. Don't go for that
cheap
fucking,
fuck.
Facts. Davis, we're talking to you.
Don't
Don't
try
just
to be a
bootleg
cheap
jerseys.
fuck. Don't try to be a cheap fuck. If you're going to be a fan, invest heavily in nice quality merch and go out and buy good shit from the team site and not the stupid fucking fraudulent UK soccer shop. I'll say it again because fuck them. I still waiting on my refund. UK Soccer Shop. Fuck you and your asses.
All right. Well, we had to cut Sling's mic off because he was getting a little rowdy and saying some things that legally we could be prosecuted for. So we had to cut that shit off. But thanks for bringing the energy, Sling.
Yeah.
Y'all know where I live, UK. You heard?
Just the entire United Kingdom. He said pull up on his ass.
Fuck it. What I'm talking about.
All right. Well, before we wrap up the pod, let's give our weekly winners and losers of the week. I'm gonna start us off. I have to big up Jake's team, but more importantly, his manager. I've said, look, I'm still not sold. I'm giving it till the end of the season because there is such thing as a new manager bounce, which is what could be happening right now. But I have not been completely sold on Thomas Tuchel at Chelsea. I think they play really good possession football, but I think they lack creating chances every now and then. But the last few games that I've watched, they've looked a lot better, and you can kind of see like a system and way of playing tactics wise that he's implementing in Chelsea's team. So he is my winner for this week. Not just the Chelsea as a club, but I'm gonna go just specifically Thomas Tuchel is my winner for the week.
Yeah, man, I respect that. And I know that probably hurt you a little to say, but this one's going to hurt me a lot to say. I think my winner for this week is probably going to be Tottenham.
Yikes.
They've won 3 in a row. They've changed their form because we thought that they were probably going to be dead in the water there for a sec. Like you said, Wolfsberger kind of gave them confidence, and
Fuck
they came out and played really good.
It's not fuck Spurs, it's fuck Wolfsberger.
Yeah, but also
what do you think of Wolfsberger?
It's both. Shit!
What do you think of shit?
What do you think of shit?
Wolfsberger! Thank you!
That's all right. But yeah, so they're going to be my winner for this week, as much as that pains me to say it. What about you, Sling? What do you think?
I'm going to go ahead and pick a relegation club at the moment as my winner of the week. I'm picking Fulham as my
I was
winner.
very close to picking them too, so I respect that
It's a good
choice.
show.
Listen, they're
Well, it's
18
robbed
right
against
now.
Spurs, but they did get a big win.
They got a big
as
win
well.
against Liverpool. They're tied with Brighton right now on points, and they put some distance between them and West Brom, who are also trying to inch their way out of relegation. So Fulham, they're trying to dig it. They're trying to stay in the league, and they did some work to do that. So,
Dude, I
yeah.
pray. Arsenal play Brighton at the end of the season, and obviously we had that whole thing last season with Neil Mopay when he injured Bernd Leno, and a lot of our fans have beef with Brighton. And if we were to relegate them, as much as I like, they would be maybe the least deserving team to ever go down in the history of the Premier League because, like, the way that they play, they should have at least 10 more points than they have right now. But they just get so unlucky and they don't finish chances and all. But if we sent them down, the scenes on Arsenal Twitter would be absolutely unreal, and I would totally be here for that.
Twitter would be fucking popping after that shit happened. Oh my god. It'd be
My boy
madhouse.
Ty on Arsenal Fan TV would have a fucking field day.
I would
Sling,
too.
who you got as your loser this week?
So on the flip side of that, my big loser of the week is going to be Liverpool, who obviously the form has not been very good. Lost their sixth straight game at Anfield, like we talked about earlier. Not looking good for Liverpool, who were just in the top 4, top 5 conversation like not too long ago, and now they're down to 8, sliding down real quick. Not really where we had them at this point in the season. So they're my big loser for the week.
Yeah, that was actually my loser as well, especially when you drop points to Fulham of all teams, relegation bound.
Respect
Fulham.
Fulham, please.
Well, yeah, I mean, come on, they've got the best left back
In the world.
right now. Yeah, in the world, honestly. Who am I kidding? But yeah, for the same reasons, you can't drop points to Fulham, especially when you're one of the big 6. I don't care, you have the quality to beat them. There's no excuse for that. And yeah, they've been looking really bad as of recent, so they're my loser for this week as well.
Yeah, my winner was the current Chelsea boss, and my loser is the former Chelsea boss, even though he's not really doing anything right now. I think that, like I said, this could be a new manager bounce. It could be that, but more than likely, I think this is what Tuchel is doing for Chelsea right now. Because if you look at Chelsea's squad, they have arguably the second best squad in the Premier League. It's either second or third. At least this season, compared to Liverpool with all the injuries they have the second best squad in the Premier League after Man City. And with how bad they were playing under Lampard, I think that just reflects really poorly on him. And he is my loser for the week because they have looked miles better ever since Tuchel took over the helm.
Yeah.
All right, well, I think that wraps up the pod this week. We did it in a little bit more condensed and efficient manner. We got through week 7, the magical number, and hopefully many more to come. Follow us on social media. Quick social media plug. We're at Clueless Yanks on all social media platforms, on Twitter, on TikTok. We have a Clueless Yanks YouTube channel. We've said it many times before. We're going to start doing more than likely the first thing we'll do on there is live match reactions. Could see some of those later on in the season with me and Sling watching Arsenal games, maybe some big Europa League games. Get in there and get it popping. But more than likely that'll really kick off starting next season as we look to kind of expand on that platform. And so, yeah, same day and same time next week, Monday evening, releases here in the United States, and then very early Tuesday morning releases in the UK. We appreciate everyone that tuned in along with us this evening. Thanks to our concurrent viewers that came back for another episode. And shout out to anybody that's new. Thank you for tuning in, and hopefully you guys like what you hear and you'll stick around for a little while. We appreciate everyone for listening. Well, hold up. Before we get out of here, I almost forgot. Can't leave the pod without doing this. We got to tell the listeners what we learned this week. Sling, what did you learn this week? Kick us off.
I learned that I'm in big trouble, boys. Mississippi just kind of like went back on the mask mandate, and the bar in the district that we all go to play darts at, is allowing us to play darts again. So blackout a bin.
Oh my god!
Full blown operation for the rest of the semester. So I'm in trouble, boys. It's gonna be a lot of money spent.
Yikes!
Okay. Let's see. I think I have learned. I know last week. I think I learned, or I said that I learned that accounting fucking blows is not the move. I'm gonna say I learned this week that Chegg is the fucking move, and it is totally worth it. Fucking get Chegg.
Yo, speaking of Chegg, I don't know if it was a TikTok or like a tweet, but this girl at a university like had a Chegg account and like used it for like all kinds of quizzes and tests. And Chegg reported to her university and like even maybe her professor of her like profile and shit, and she got like suspended from the university for a year.
Guess what? It's not my Chegg. It's somebody else's. So let's go.
Anyways, I learned that diving in the world of football, or as we call it here in the United States, soccer, is now reaching different levels. It's reaching youth levels. And shout out to my high school soccer team. They were my alma mater. They were in the state championship this past weekend. Unfortunately, ended up taking a crushing 2-1 loss in the final minutes. But the team that they were playing, they were flopping and diving all over the pitch the entire game. And it's like, yo, come on, bro. Like, I understand you have to sell fouls, but I remember back when we were in high school, we'd go watch the high school games, and high schoolers don't really flop that much, but I guess now they're teaching them that nowadays, so yikes.
Goddamn grass fairies.
So hopefully, yeah, that's what I learned this week, and it wasn't a very good thing to learn. I wish I hadn't seen it. Anyways, well, let's get out of here. Wrapping up the pod. Everyone that listened, appreciate y'all. We'll see you guys next week.
Peace out, y'all.
Sayonara.
Take it easy, everyone.